Hello again. So this is sort of an introduction to the coming review of Matt Walsh's film "What Is a Woman," or documentary rather. And really, the review is done, but I want to add more text to explain a few more things that are missing in his film, and his ending is too simplistic. His film is mostly useful to show just what these propagandists pro-trans stuff are about. They're antisocial, don't want to discuss anything if they feel that you're not going along with their views, etc. Oppressive also, which is actually inherent in social justice warrior stuff. In political correctness, it's inherent. But okay, let's go a little bit to this. Richard IV, this guy makes some videos about problems in current day United Kingdom, and that is similar to the Netherlands, whining people, for example, whining about statues or names of roads or names of schools, and that's all valid. These immigrants come and then just whine about your society. If you don't like it, get the F out of there. And it's not like they are giving proper criticism. It isn't, because nobody's a saint, and these people, these names, these statues, it's all of people who were important to the history of the country, the UK, and in the Netherlands, where you have the same issues with these crackpots, propagandists, and professional agitators, I would say, who live on welfare, in the Netherlands at least. And that's very common. Try to achieve. It's cultural self-destruction what's going on. You have these propagandists, and people go along with them because of, well, that's the whole problem. It's what's going on now. It's an inferiority complex. It is a narcissism by proxy, as I mentioned. I think I mentioned it in one video already. And that is really what's going on. That's why certain people are given power, and why this cultural self-denigration, self-destruction is going on. So I'll go back a little bit to 2018 when I was in Kharkov. I went there to visit a friend to help her. And I mentioned this in a one or two a few videos, I think, about the issues she had in her life. It was not just the group of friends with whom she wanted to do a project of ecological living, ecological growing of food. You stupid tablet. It was also, it was also her parents, but this group used her in a way, and what I realized very strongly after that was that really most people create their own problems. I wrote this, I think I mentioned this before also in a video. You can't really help. It's all really difficult to help people because they need to be ready to change themselves. And when you are of a certain mindset, have certain ideas and accept certain things, then you're friends with, or you go start projects with people who are actually not good for you. That's what happened. They used her, but she, and that's where this mindset comes in, did the same to other people. For example, we went to shops to look for, because she had trouble with her ankle. I said, okay, I've experience with hiking shoes, let's go find some. And in shops, and we also went looking for some bag for her. And when the shop didn't have what we were looking for example, the correct hiking shoes or test surface, you need something like a slope that you can walk up on, and then see whether they are really the right size for you. Things like that. She did not say thank you to people in the shop who helped us after, when we left, if they didn't have what we were looking for. And I mentioned that to her, and there was no response to her. And I thought, yeah, it's a bit emotion poor. I knew that from the start. So she behaved badly towards me. I knew from the start really what she was like. A bit, she was distrustful and a bit emotion poor. That was also very clear quite early, but not autistic, because we went, for example, to the parents of an acquaintance, and I told him, yeah, you know, next time I come to Kharkov, I'll take something from the Netherlands with me for them. And it'll be interesting for them, perhaps, if something from the Netherlands, something tasty, and interesting for me just to have a talk. So I went with her. And she and I, yeah, we talked about issues in Ukraine, and I then mentioned issues in the Netherlands, for example. And we also talked about this topic, that in the Netherlands, this was in 2018, that in the Netherlands there's this self-destruction going on culturally, self-denigration, same as in the UK. That was already going on then, or a few years before that. Let's see. And by the way, yeah, that I knew she wasn't autistic is, for example, from this, that she, so we talked about something, then the husband, so the father of my acquaintance said something, and my friend and said later to me, did you notice how she looked at him when he said this and that? And I said, yeah, I noticed that. And she looked at her husband disapprovingly. Now, if you're autistic, then you don't see that, and you don't notice those things. But there is something emotion poor about her, and also distrusting and other things, and it causes issues in her own life. And a lot of times people create their own problems in life, and this kind of thing as well. You have a certain mindset, you have certain goals, and if you're not critical enough of other people, then you will go along with them for too long. And for me, that's possibly also the same in dealing with her, although I also always felt she had really good positive qualities, and I felt I should not just dump her as a friend. But it was interesting in a way, but okay. Now back to this. He says exploring common trick utilized by anti-British types, but this is not a trick utilized by anti-British types. This is a trick or a problem shown in many places, also in the film by Matt Walsh, namely asking for a definition. People do not walk around with definitions ready to state in let's go back here at start for anything. Here, this guy, Billy Hussein, asks why non-Muslims in London to define British values in 4 words. First of all, 4 words is ridiculous. That's far too little, far too few. Here's what they said, filmed in 2015. Of course, now he's posting it for clout, for yeah, you know, this was already there, and it's meaningless because people don't think in terms of definitions. What do you do if someone asks you a definition of a car? Then you need to think about, yeah, what's essential for a car? Does it need to have a windshield? Does it need to have 4 wheels or 3? What about 6 wheels? Is that still a car? What about 2 seats, 4 seats, 6 seats, 8 seats? Is that still a car or is that a van? And so these are things you know implicitly. Same as with culture, but you can't just say, spit it out, like this is the culture, this is the British values. So British values are mostly implicit. You know them, you live them. You can't just say them. So the British values that is implicit in the culture, in the way you behave towards other people, in the films that you make, or TV series that the country makes, food, how you eat, you know, that's also part of it. It's a lot of that's common, of course, or fairly common over Western Europe. In other countries, that may not be the same at all in how you behave during dinner, for example. And if you don't have these, and this guy says, for example,
what British values are.
If you could define British values in 4 words.
You gotta help me here.
Yeah, he can't say that because you don't walk around with these definitions.
British values.
British values.
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
Yeah, she knows, but it's sort of implicit, subconscious, and you need to think about it. This guy Richard IV then mentions, four words is not enough, correct, and he also mentions some of what is the essence of British values. But it's not all, of course, because as I said, it's implicit in the culture and how you live. You don't just know it; you know it implicitly from growing up over many, many, many years, from watching, from your parents, from school, from TV series, films, anything, from interacting with friends. If someone is transposed from another country into the UK, then he won't have those values, and that's just like it is. But also, you can't just say what these values are, simply because they weren't defined unless they were defined in school, for example. Then you can give a list, like perhaps in history, and yeah, these are the values that we live by today. I don't think it was like that. I haven't heard, I haven't had it like that in the Netherlands history lessons. So Matt Walsh's film is the same. He asks, what is a woman to lay people? And these can't answer the question, obviously, because they don't know. And there are also issues in that some people may not want to tell you the truth, because then they would say, yeah, that's not a woman. And then, oh, wait a minute, I can't say that in the current climate, the political climate, or the social justice warrior climate, as you may call it. Similar to Crimea, for example, where in 2016, it was here this time. In 2016, I made a trip to Ukraine, and I went to Kharkov first. I went actually to Kiev and then took a bus to Boryspil to Kiev and then intercity to intercity. Wait a minute, it's a train. I also took a bus one time, train to Kharkov, and from there I went to Chuguyev and Sharivka. And just before I went to Sharivka, I talked to a guy. I did not write it down here. No, I did not write it down here. I think I wrote it down somewhere else. I met this guy. He was a doctor, alternative cancer medicine. I think. Yeah, I felt it was bullshit, but in any case, we talked a little bit about life in Ukraine and about Crimea. Crimea had been taken over, and I said nothing has improved for people there, as what people told me. And he said, yeah, oh, strange, because people told me that things are better there. Yeah, you need to know what questions to ask and how to interpret it, because people will not tell you the truth. For example, if they voted to be with Russia, then they will not be happy to tell you, yeah, I made a mistake, nothing became better. They will tell you something that may make them feel better as well, but also to not show others or themselves that they made a mistake. And that is, for example, that they told him, yeah, the roads are much better. But I was there in 2013 from Simferopol to Sevastopol, then to Alupka, Alushta. I cycled a lot within Sevastopol. And the roads were almost everywhere excellent, especially between cities, which is where the roads are the worst in Ukraine, between cities. And within the cities, they're usually okay, up to fairly good, and sometimes bad, but not that bad. And when I was there in 2014, nothing had changed. And so he said he'd been there in, I think it was 2015. And he said, yeah, people told him that the roads are much better. Yeah, it couldn't have been much better because they were already very good. So he didn't know it. But in any case, I think he would not realize that you need to interpret what people say. If people say this, then it is not something that is the truth, but it's something that they are comfortable telling you. So back to this one. He mentions the issue with telling something in 4 words, definition of British values in 4 words. 4 words is not enough. He does not go into the issue of, people don't have definitions ready. That's just a bad question to ask lay people. For professional people, yes. Lay people, no. That's one of the issues with Matt Walsh's film, but it's not a big issue. I would say bigger issue is not properly dealing with the possibilities and the explanations of what causes all this. And for example, examples that debunk certain things, such as that your feelings give you a certain way of. If someone says, "Yeah, I feel this way, therefore I am," he deals with that because he says, "Yeah, what about lying or not really knowing?" But there's more going on. For example, you can deduce certain things from 46XY DSD athletes. Okay, that's coming soon. Bye for now.